Hi, I'm Shane de Koning and I'm the founder of KUBO. KUBO is a digital solution for schools in deprived contexts. It consists of an offline server, school platform, and devices to create computer classes. We are truly honored to be part of the ICT4D non-conference and we'll try our very best to share as many insights that we have gathered over the last 3 years. I will share how KUBO was conceived and the early experiments with open educational resources. Then I will pass the word to Yento, who will share how UX strategies can help to overcome IT skill barriers. And I'll pass the word to Robbie, and Robbie will share how mobile data offers solutions for backups as well as remote access to your devices. And then Jelle will share how product design and design thinking can help to create more effective and sustainable devices for your users. Our technology is centered around the Raspberry Pi, which is an ultra low-cost computer, very cheap, consumes very little energy, and has lots of technological possibilities. I did my internship at the Swallow primary school in Gambia, and I brought one of those Raspberry Pis with me, along with the Rachel server. So Rachel server is a offline server that holds open educational resources. One of the resources is Khan Academy, which are videos and lessons on many topics. I wanted to make it easier for the teachers at the school to offer those resources. So I mapped them with the Gambian curriculum. I also set up a computer class using Raspberry Pis, and they loved it. They kept making exercises, they didn't want to stop. And so the data that came out of it was super valuable. We knew where students were struggling, and we noticed there were huge differences within one class to their mastery of mathematics. So we were certainly inspired to continue with this, and now for 3 years we have continued to innovate.
When Shane introduced me to the project and asked me to do an internship for KUBO, it immediately sparked my interest. My task as an intern was to take a look at the proof of concept provided by Shane, try to understand the basic concepts, and then throw it away and rebuild it. The main premise was very simple. Users in Gambia know how to use Facebook, so the platform needed to reflect the same simplicity. With this premise, we started our research into the field of user experience, which paved the way to our methodology. First, we had to know what to aim for. As you can see over here, you can see the administrative workload of teachers and administrative personnel in the Swallow. Our number one priority was to lower this workload and free up time to spend with the students. We essentially started with making prototypes because we had a lot of assumptions. First, we started very high level with a flow of events and then set up a component-based framework to make prototyping things easy. And then we started with building interactive and testable prototypes. What you see over here are some user tests that were essential to check on our assumptions. We made use of questionnaires and tested with peers in the same IT background to get first impressions, and then we tested also with students enrolled in primary education training. Doing tests in Belgium was very useful to work on first iterations of the prototype, but neglecting the context could result into false conclusions. Therefore, it was of the utmost importance to test with the effective end users in the Gambia itself. As of today, we're still working on KUBO with results. We lowered administration for teachers and personnel at the Swallow, freeing up time for students. The term reports are also automatically calculated and generated, which leads to less human error. And by consistently touching base with the Swallow as our partner, we continue our efforts to improve the platform today and in the future.
Hi, my name is Robbie, and I take care of the infrastructure and operations of the KUBO platform. This basically makes me the DevOps engineer. My journey began 2.5 years ago when I first did my internship at the Swallow in the Gambia. There I got to work with some wonderful people as well as some awesome technologies, such as the Raspberry Pi. It was my job to implement the platform that Shane and Jentel were developing, back in Belgium. It was also my job to answer the question of what to do with the backups. We knew that we could store them locally on a USB drive or the micro SD card. However, to prevent any data loss in the case of corruption, we knew that we wanted to send them to a central repository. So while I was doing my research, I was using a dongle, this exact dongle to be precise. So I thought to put two and two together, and lo and behold, we had a solution to the problem. This meant that we could send our backups to a central server, as well as start working on a remote access solution. At first, this was a simple SSH tunnel. Eventually, this grew and became a full-blown OpenVPN solution. This VPN solution allows for more scalable network as well as more reliability and remote monitoring of our devices. None of this would be possible, however, without the help and assistance of Mohammed, who is here as well and will tell you a little bit more about what he does.
Okay, hi, I am Mohammed, the KUBO representative of the Gambia. I joined at KUBO in November 2019, which was so interesting for me. And I was so happy to be part of this organization that promote the learning of IT to improve the quality of education in remote and local areas, especially as a part in Africa. My role is to make sure the IT classes runs effectively without any problems, training the teachers on how to use the KUBO administration platform. And also with Robbie, I serve as a link to help setting up anything necessary for the network we're using for the KUBO. At the same time, it's a great lesson for me to fully understand how the network settings works effectively, which is a great thing. And that's something I'm doing at the KUBO. Thanks to you all.
Hi, my name is Yellow. I'm KUBO's product designer, and I also rolled into KUBO through an internship in 2019. Shane asked me to design an RPI server enclosure that would make their product look more trustworthy. So I decided to go to the Gambia myself and visit the pilot projects. I spoke with all the people who were somehow attached to the projects, and I observed the users, the teachers and the students who were using the KUBO platform and the devices. I noticed that from a user perspective, there were little to no problems with this server. As long as it worked, nobody really cared about this little black box. So to secure the device, I had a locally produced wooden box installed on the wall with a lock. And for the local users who actually cared, this was a good solution, as this is the same way that they keep larger amounts of money. The user experience with the RPI-based desktops in the classrooms, that was something else though. The infrastructure in the classrooms looked and worked like a quick and dirty prototype. So I proposed to design an enclosure for the desktops and to produce a small series of 25 pieces for one classroom. KUBO accepted, and I started the design process, which went from initial sketches to a functional analysis and on to the generation of a few possible concepts. We selected this one and then moved from concept to product in a way it could be produced in a small series and of course within a tight budget. So I ended up with something looking like this. We named it the KUBO X. In the fall of 2019, we installed 25 of these in our classroom in the Swallow School, and 50 more are planned to be installed at 2 projects in 2021. In the meantime, we have other organizations interested in implementing KUBO in their projects, which meant we had to rethink KUBO X for larger production numbers. So I will end this talk with a sneak preview of the final prototype, which will soon be fully revealed. I thank you for listening and feel free to reach out if you are interested in this project.